Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of the Glowhood podcast. I'm your host, Danielle Mame. So today's episode will actually be a little bit different. I know last week I said that we were going to be talking or getting listener input, but I had to change a few things last minute. So we'll be doing that in a future episode. Today's episode is still going to be the same topic. When the wrong people leave your life, the right things start to happen. And in this episode, I kind of wanted to tie in a few tips and things that we can all apply. So that way we can all just be like better humans. All right, so let's just get into it. All right, so as I said, today's topic is going to be when the wrong people leave your life, the right things start to happen. What does that mean when somebody says that? When the wrong people leave your life, the right things start to happen? Well, to me, that means that the wrong people being in your life are a hindrance to you and your progress. And basically, they're acting as a block to some of your blessings, whether it's intentional or unintentional. It's the reality of what's happening. So there are a few ways to kind of spot out if someone is good for you in terms of like your aura, your energy, or if someone is, not so good for you and is kind of, whether intentionally or unintentionally blocking some good things from coming into your life. First tip would be if you interact with that person, like in person, like face to face, and you're around them, are they bringing in positivity or negativity? And the way you'll be able to know that is, do you feel energized or do you feel drained after your interaction with them? So, just think about that. Think about all the people in your life and how you feel around them. The next question, do you feel like they're always bringing in good ideas? Are they bringing in positivity in general? Or are they bringing in negativity, gossip? Or are they kind of just, going with the flow or, being negative or trying to bring your mood down? How was your interaction with that person? And it's a little bit trickier with some people. Like I had a former friend who she would be like low-key insulting you, but she would say it like in a jokey manner, so you wouldn't be able to really tell that that's like what she was doing. And after a while, I was like, dude, you're like high-key insulting me, what the heck? And she'd be like, no, I'm not, and always laugh it off. And it's like, you see, don't like, it's the way certain people interact with you is gonna determine how they are in your life, because that's literally what this life is about, is different interactions with different people. Another good tip is also, again, after you leave, just kind of sit with yourself for a second and see how you feel in general. So do you feel like you are drained? Do you feel tired? Do you feel like you're in a different mood, in a bad mood? Or do you feel like, oh my gosh, that was really good. That was enlightening. I really enjoyed my time with so-and-so. They're really helpful. They brought me a whole new perspective on this situation that I wouldn't have thought of on my own, or whatever the case is, Think about that for, let's say, try and see if you can do that for 5 times after interacting with that person. And I'm pretty sure you'll be able to determine what kind of energy they're bringing into your life. And I know I keep on talking about the same thing in all the other episodes, but it's very important that everyone is aware, because a lot of us are not really aware of there's so much more to being a human than just, going to work, going to school, paying your bills, going to sleep. There's so much more. So I really want us to really tap in and to really get to the root of what it is to be a human. Next thing, if you surround yourself with people who you kind of don't know that well, and you're in the beginning stages of getting to know each other, one thing that I will say is, see how you guys interact in different settings. So if you are in a quiet setting, let's say you guys go to the park. If you are in a louder, more lively setting, see how they interact in those situations. And then also if you are in an in-between setting, so if you're in a professional, either it's in school or at work or at an event that is more professional, see how everyone is interacting in those settings. If you can use the same tips that I said earlier about seeing how you feel after those interactions. And if you feel good or bad with those interactions, that'll definitely help you interact. It'll help you determine, what kind of people are in your life and what kind of people you also attract into your life. So now's the time where we have to kind of go into basically what happens when you kind of determine that this person is not a good fit for you. It's not a good fit for your life and the goals that you have. So now you kind of want to see if you guys can part ways. The thing about doing that is it's extremely challenging to do, at least for me, because I am the type of person that I give people a lot of chances. And I know there's a lot of other people who do the same thing, where if someone kind of messes up a couple times, you're forgiving, you're going to give them another chance to really redeem themselves and make sure that they know that, hey, I'm going to give you another chance. I just want you to know that you did cross the line and I'm not going to allow that again. But I will allow you to be in my life a little bit longer. If I see that you keep doing the thing, then just know that it's over. And there's some people who it's one thing, one and done. You could do one thing and you're out. Boom. I really aspire. Not that I aspire, but I admire the way that they're able to really just set that boundary and just be like, the door's closed. Bye. But once you've gotten to that point with an individual or a group of individuals, it's very important that you are able to really think about things, think of a game plan. Okay, this person is not necessarily good for me. I have been friends with this person for quite a while, and I've seen that this person is just not, we're not on the same path, we're not doing the same things, we don't have the same goals, and I think it would be best for us to part ways. The best thing to do would be trying to talk to the individual about that, or the group of individuals, trying to talk to them, see how, because the first thing is it could just be some miscommunication. So maybe they're not aware of whatever they're doing, and if you bring it up to them, they will more than likely be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I was doing that, I'm so sorry, let me see if I can change that. So first thing is just to talk with them, have a sit down talk with them and discuss and you air out your grievances, and do it professionally, do it in a respectful way. The next thing is, if you know that they're not going to be receptive to whatever you're saying, then at this point it would be best just to disconnect yourself. Just tell them, hey, everything's been great, but there's a few things that I did have an issue with, and I think I've said that a couple of times. So now that I don't see things to be improving, I think it would just be best that we end on a good note, and then peacefully and respectfully separate. And the goal here is to not burn your bridges unless absolutely necessary. If you know that you're going to run into this person, like this is your coworker, for example, you're going to see them for a while, right? Because you guys work together. It's not like you guys can just be like, oh, I don't want to see your face, and then they literally sit 2 feet away from you. So just make sure you always end on a good note. Don't burn bridges unless you have to. There are some instances where you do need to burn bridges because maybe you don't trust yourself, or you don't trust that you'll be able to fully block that person out unless it ends on a bad note, which is not great, but it happens sometimes. Just try and always end on a good note. Once you do that, then take that time that you would spend with that individual or the group of individuals and try and see if you can then reinvest that time into yourself or into your family or into your hobbies or whatever it is that you were putting aside in order to interact with them. Again, there's a few things that you could do. And for me personally, like I keep saying, I know I just keep talking about like personal stories that I have, but I feel like that makes it a little bit more relatable in terms of like how to apply these things to like your own life. Essentially, just try and allow yourself to really reevaluate everything. Reevaluate how your interactions with that person were. Also reevaluate some of the signs, if there's any red flags within the relationship, if there's any little things that you didn't really like that are, You didn't like it, and whether you brought it up to the person or not, you still were like, oh, I'll just ignore that. This is the time to really reevaluate that and then try and see if you can pay attention to that in the future if you see it come up again. Another thing would be also when you are trying to figure out like what the next step is, just do some self-reflection, do some meditation. All of that is extremely helpful because not only does it allow you to really get in touch with yourself and the core of who you are, but it also allows you to be able to reinvest your time into things that you like and your hobbies and your passions and things that you actually want to do, and not have to worry about impressing the next person or trying to maintain that friendship or relationship with another person. That's all time and energy that you're taking away technically from yourself. So, and I'm not saying that that's bad, so don't get it twisted. That's not that. Like, being in a friendship or relationship with someone is obviously great. But if you feel like it's draining you, then remove yourself from that situation and reinvest your energy into something else. And preferably something in yourself, because there's one thing. There is always a return on investment when you invest in yourself. There is always a return on investment. It's never, ever a bad decision or a bad investment to invest in yourself. Okay? Don't get it twisted. Always remember that, because you should be your greatest investment. What you invest the most time in and most energy in should be in yourself. It should be in the things that you are passionate about, things that you are, that you love. It shouldn't be around people who either take you for granted or who are, low-key insulting you, or who are questioning your intelligence or making you feel less than. It should not ever be in those areas. It should be in things that provide satisfaction, provide, good things for yourself. Okay, so now let's get into when the actual topic at hand. So when the wrong people leave your life, the right things start to happen. Now, why would I say that? Why? Okay, so the thing is, again, when the wrong people leave your life and the right things start to happen, you also are able to now really solidify your boundaries. You're able to really think about the things that you like, things that you're passionate about, as I just mentioned. Once you are able to do that, a lot of good things start to happen, because the thing that a lot of people don't really realize, and it took me a while to actually realize this myself, was if you allow negativity and negative people around you, if there's something positive coming, it's automatically repelled, because it's not something that you're not being fed the positive thing. You're being fed negative things. So when something positive is coming in, it automatically is repelled by it, and it attracts more negativity. So when there's someone around you who is negative or who is pouring in negative things into your spirit, it doesn't allow for blessings to come in and to shine through. And that is a huge disservice to yourself, because everyone deserves to get blessed. Everyone deserves to have good things. Every single person deserves to have good things. It doesn't matter who they are, what they do. Every single person deserves to have good things in their life. So it's extremely important that you are protective of your inner circle, that you are protective of your energy, that you're protective of your time. That is a huge one for me. Your time, because one thing about your time is that you cannot get it back. If you are investing your time into something that you don't feel in the long run will have a good effect, then it's best that you just remove yourself from that situation and invest your time in something else. Invest your time wisely, because at the most, how many hours are there in a day? There's 24 hours in a day, and let's say you live to be like 75. Granted, I hope that everyone lives to be more than 75, but let's say there's 24 hours in a day, there's 365 days in a year, that's 8,760 hours in a year, and you times that by 75, what is that? There's 600,557,000 hours in a lifetime. It doesn't seem like it's that much. if you think about it, because the first 5 years of your life, you're still learning. You're still trying to figure out, like, how do I operate this body that I'm in? How do I do things for myself? So the first 5 years you can just chalk it up to being like, that's already being used. So you have at most 70 years to really get everything that you want to get done. And then even then, you don't get to retire really until you're 65. So you have from the time that you're 18, let's say 18 when you finish school, until you're 65, to really utilize that time. That's not that many hours. So if you are investing in something that you do not feel is worth your time, disconnect, because we only have literally a little bit over 500,000 hours in our lifetime. You're lucky if you get to live longer than that, but if you think about it, there's a lot of people who don't even make it to that. So there's people with less time to be able to get all of that done. So please remember that when it comes to certain things, just disconnect if you don't feel like you need to be involved in that. So I just want to end this podcast episode saying thank you so much. Thank you for listening. If you have any suggestions on the content that is being covered here, if you have any comments, if you want to even send in any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And please follow us on all our social media pages, Glowhood Podcast, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can also follow our sister page, Grown Women Society, where we'll be getting most of these topics from. If you want to be featured, you can always go to anchor.fm/Glowhood to be able to leave a voice note, so that way we can incorporate you into the next episodes. So thank you so much for listening, and have a blessed and wonderful day. Bye.